decided to raise one batch of broilers right before the winter time because it's a quite mild climate here, and we'll be able to have them out on pasture all the way till November, we believe. And these guys are gonna go outside in a few days. They are a little bit over 3 weeks old now, and with 3.5 weeks we'll put them out. We are gonna have some nice weather, and we have been raising them in this little circle with water nipples. They don't have heat anymore. It's turned off already. The bedding is producing a little bit of heat. We have been giving them a lot of grass, introducing them to it, and they devour it. They really like it, and I can't wait for them to be out on pasture on the chicken tractor. We're gonna slaughter in a couple days a batch of heritage breed roosters that's in a chicken tractor, and once we're done with them and it's available, then they're gonna go into the chicken tractor for another 5 weeks or so. So really excited that we'll get some pasture broilers before the winter. And these are not the white ones. These are the little bit slower growing brown ones, which typically are used for organic use here in Austria. It is Sunday afternoon, and we are going on a walk on the farm that we live on. We are here in Austria and being part of developing and restarting this farm, the Beerenberg, close to the city of Linz, the third biggest city in Austria. It is slowing down a lot here on the farm, and we are in the middle of planning not just the next season but the next 5 years, and doing a lot of restructuring, and it is pretty much a complete new start of the operation in a lot of ways. You can see up here the walnut trees that are planted on this quite steep slope, and we are going to have in a pig operation, pasture pork operation there under the walnut trees. We're going to thin the walnut trees out. A lot of things happening. It's going to be a market garden established right here. Just going to be a very busy few years. There's a lot of infrastructure being changed and built, and you know, we're really excited to be part of this and to be able to come in as farm planners and help a lot with the establishment of that. Quite cool coming here to the farm with an established agro forestry system and seeing the pros and cons of the system. This walnut planting here was never thinned out. It's way too close. It's a monoculture, and there are a lot of issues with it, and we don't know if we are too late for this to become a good walnut place. So likely we're going to be too late with it, but it's going to be really interesting to see what else we can do with this land. We are easily doubling the profit on those 2.5 hectares of land just by putting the pastured pork in there. And right now here in the beginning you can see the trees are actually standing okay, but then further up they're way too close, and they should have been thinned out some 20 years ago already. Agroforestry can be great, but it can also be a big problem if done in the wrong way, and it's really interesting to see that here on the farm. The farm is known for blueberries and the walnut, but we have a completely different vision for this farm, and already in the last years the owner Jakob that you've seen on a previous video, he has sold over 100 products on this farm, mainly from wild trees and shrubs, a bunch of products from his own. You know, he has the blueberry, but then he goes and he makes a liquor from it, he makes a juice from it, he makes jam and jelly from it. They take every product so much further. They harvest flowers and seeds from wild trees and sell them to the top restaurants in the country, and it's just very cool to see all the things that you can do and how they don't look at, oh, we have this land and we can only do this, but they take advantage of everything, and everything that grows they just use it for something. It's really awesome to see. Here you can see something that's much more desirable. This field used to be planted just the same with the walnut trees, but about a year ago they were thinned out. There was barely any vegetation under the trees, and just by rotational grazing with sheep and cattle, look at what has gotten established right under the trees. It is just very nice to see how this has developed and how quickly nature has responded. Those of you guys who know a little bit about walnut trees is that they have quite a strong impact on the soil and ground around them. But just with rotational grazing and the nutrient input, with a lot of bare soil under here beforehand, look at what has become of it. Here you see some sheep that we are rotating, and it is just so much more pleasant to be here and to see and have the sunlight come in. Though we have these walnut trees, and down there you can see a lot of blueberries, they bring some income, but then how do you use all the pasture that they're planted on? And so we're going to come in with poultry, geese and chickens and ducks, and we're going to be taking advantage of all that pasture and grass and herbs and everything under all the trees and under all the blueberries, and right away better manage the vegetation under the blueberries for harvest and everything, but then grow another product and grow food under all this. And so you double, you triple, you quadruple your growth on this land, and you have a much better use of it, and in combination everything is healthier. So it's really great to see. But you can really tell the blueberries and these long rows. Some rows are wide enough that we can run the chicken tractors through there. Otherwise we'll try to work with poultry netting. And I'm actually trying to design and plan a different kind of electric netting right now that's much like a side awning that you can pull out, that should allow us to much easier and simpler be able to fence off in between the bushes. Trying to figure out a system, not 100% sure yet that it'll work, but I hope so, because now the electric netting has existed for quite a long time, and I think it's time for it to get developed further and to take the next step to just make it so much quicker, less entangling, and take the build-up time from 10 minutes down to maybe 3 or 4 minutes. That would be great. Here you can see these wide rows between the blueberry bushes. Some of the rows are double, and we are actually thinking of reducing the blueberries because the peaks of the harvest are too high anyway. Now before you go and plant all blueberries on your field, or walnuts, or some other kind of agroforestry system, just let me slow you down a little bit and let me tell you that there are very few people who understand the entirety of a project like that. With these blueberries, for example, you need to realize that there are about 8 to 10 weeks of harvest, but only about 4 to 6 weeks are profitable. The rest of the time, if you want to harvest a high quality blueberry for direct marketing, the actual berry, you will be in a non-profit harvesting situation, even with relatively low labor cost. We have right now the government, lots of people just saying, plant all these berry bushes, plant all these trees, and they have very little concept of what that really entails, and all of a sudden you end up with several tons of berries and everything, the logistics and manpower that is required to harvest these. So just be slow, just take it easy when it comes to just wanting to plant something like that. All agriculture that mimics ecosystems and is beneficial and healing and is eco-mimicking works with animals as well. And so there's no place for a farm concept without animals. And if you just say, I just want berries and I just want all of that, you need to think of the infrastructure. You need to think of how you want to cultivate this. Right now, they have one full-time worker who all year long in the growing season just tries to mow grass, under the blueberry bushes. Think about that. And we are trying now to go in with poultry and geese to manage the grass, and we have to see that they don't damage the plants, that they don't damage the flowers or the fresh shoots, that they will not go to the berries. And if you plant and establish a new blueberry field, think about this. These plants are going to be even smaller. Geese will be even more challenging. These blueberry plants, they are established. The geese won't reach the berries. So just think about that. We're going to be working with sheep as well, but it is not as easy as it sounds. So just go ahead and just plant something. You need to think this through. You need to plan it well. They're delicious though.
Oh my gosh, they are just insane.
So here we have a couple rows where we already ran chicken tractors through, and you see the results are great. The challenge is more the vegetation and the grass under these blueberry rows, and you see they're double rows, so it's hard to use the space in between, but we will try to take out every 10 meters or so a couple plants, and then be able to put poultry netting in between. So guys, I'm just gonna wrap up this video here today. I hope you enjoyed that and got a little bit of a better understanding what we're doing here, and I'm really excited to be part of this project, to spend these months or a couple of years here to really help develop this place. And there are so many things that we're going to do that I didn't share in today's video. Gonna look at water retention, pond building, and market gardening, lots of other things. Really exciting. So please stay tuned on the journey that we have here.
Yes, I went!
To build this regenerative farm with probably at the end having close to 200 products that are going to be sold. So very exciting, guys. Thank you for watching today. See you soon.